I'm Jerry Wilhite. I was born in 1936 on Idlewild Drive, and I was raised on Idlewild. And in them days, we used to play ball in the streets, baseball in the streets, and football in the streets, and different games. We had a lot of fun, the neighborhood kids, and I was in love with the little girl down the street, or at least I thought I was. And my first kiss, really, but it was fun. And had a best friend named Gerald Bailey, and we used to run around, do things, and we run track in school, and we just good buddies. And he moved away, and boy, that really got me. But I still remember. In fact, he became a minister when he growed up. That was it was good to have a buddy like that, and it was just always a lot of fun when we was young. And then I got older, and then I met my wife at the theater. Well, I quit high school, and I was going to join the army, and then I told my buddies they was going to join. They wanted me to join with them, and I said, that sounds good, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up and see if I can get this job at the theater. If I don't get that job, you're in, I'm in with you, we'll join. But I got that job, and that was, so I didn't go to the army like they did, but then I met my love of my life, and I was a ticket man, and usher for a while, and then I got a job taking tickets, and the woman of my life was the popcorn popper and selling the candy and stuff, and I used to stand there with the ticket thing, and I'd look over my left and look at her and wink, and her face turned red, but I got a lot of popcorn, and I really enjoyed that show. And then her boyfriend actually said, Jerry, you want to go to lunch with us? And I said, yeah, and that's really, that's how I really started going with her after that. But then I was her boyfriend. I used to make him hang marquee because it was a rough job. I didn't have to, so it was a lot of fun. Oh, Vernie, you want to?
Yeah, I'm Vernie Wilhite, known more as Vernie, and I was born out in the country in Golden Gate, Illinois. I was the fourth child. I had 2 older brothers and an older sister. We lived on a farm, and my dad farmed and done things like that. And then when I was about 3, we moved to Evansville. He was working at the airport, Press Memorial, I think it was at that time, building it. And so we moved down here, and I guess one of the earliest memories I have is me trying to ride a tricycle down a flight of stairs. We were staying at this one place, and they had stairs, and I thought, I could just go to the basement with that tricycle. But we were kind of poor. And my dad traveled a lot with his jobs, but I didn't know we was. I felt lots of love from my mom and my sister. We grew up. I grew up on 4th Avenue, close to Emma Roach School, which is now Cedar Hall. I also didn't finish high school. My dad worked in the shipyards, and my brother worked in the shipyards. And there's 12 years difference between my sister and brother. I was younger than they was, so they were adults, and I kind of had an inferiority complex because I looked up to he was so great, my sister was so pretty and stuff, and I thought I was full of freckles. And so I thought, man, they've got it made, and here I am. But I was the baby of the family, so I probably judged myself harshly. But my dad fought in World War I, and my brother fought in World War II. And then after World War II, my dad took a construction job in Guam. And so he was over there rebuilding Guam for about 4 years. And then after he came home from there, my mom and dad got divorced. They was been married for 20-something years. And then later she remarried. And I got a little sister 12 years younger than me. So I wasn't the baby of the family anymore. But we, you know, to me, life was pretty good, and that's just kind of the way you accepted whatever spot you was. You knew there was somebody worse off than you, and that's kind of the way I grew up, feeling like that. We may not have everything, but there was a lot of people worse off than we was. And then went to the work at the show and met him, and life changed dramatically. We got married in '56. I really should have graduated high school in '57, but like I said, I quit before that. But 1987, I went back and got my diploma, because to me, schooling, I had 3 girls, and I wanted school to be important to them too, learning and stuff. It was important that I set the standard. But I didn't want them dropping out of school. I often thought, what would I do if they wanted to drop out of school? So I went back and got my diploma, and then our married life began.
Well, we talked when we was talking when I was young. We also I talked about all them games and stuff, and it was just me and my sister, and my mom and dad got a divorce too. But anyway, she got a little older. The boys started coming around, and some of them had cars. And they said, "Let's go get an ice cream." She'd say, okay, let me go ask Mom. When she'd run in and ask Mom, I'd jump in the back seat of the car, and they'd get the ice cream place. I said, "Can I have one?" Of course, I'd get an ice cream. All except one date she had his name was Phil Johnson. I'll never forget him. He wouldn't buy me one. He was tight, man. No, he ended up being my brother-in-law. He was a good guy, but he wouldn't buy me an ice cream. But hey, grandkids, don't think you can always get that back seat and cheat and get an ice cream. But I enjoyed it. The ice cream was good. Somebody was buying it.
Well, I met Terry probably April. No, it's February. And then he hitchhiked to Texas, and I didn't see him for a while, and then he came back, and I was walking down Fulton Avenue, and he come along and asked me if I wanted to ride home. And of course, I took it. And after that, we started dating very seriously, got engaged in September. And we kind of planned a June wedding. But then we got to thinking, well, we're in love and we want to get married. And so we moved it up to January 14th, 1956. we got married at his house in his mother's living room. And we had a minister, Gene Main, that married us. And his brother-in-law
Phil
was his best man. And I think my sister was my maid of honor. And when the wedding was over, his mom had fried chicken and made a dinner for us. And then one of my mother's friends rented out here at the Sunset. There was a motel out there
on 41 then.
On 41, and so we spent our honeymoon night at that motel, a Sunset Motel, and we had an apartment rented about a block from his work. So he used to work there at Imperial Desk and come home for lunch, and because we was real close. I wouldn't ever advise anybody to get married in January. That's a cold time to have an anniversary.
Well, my first car was 49 Chevrolet. I bought before we got married, but we had it for a long time. And then we bought a Nash, which was the worst mistake I ever made, because I almost got killed in it. But it was junk, and so I bought a Ford, and it was the best car we ever had. It was a 55 Ford, and it was one of the best cars I ever had. But I was working on that Nash. Some guy said he wanted to buy the muffler and that off of it, and I said, okay, I'll take it off. And it was snowing even, and I got underneath it. It was outside. It went in the garage, and the jack slipped, and I rolled out fast I could. My arm got caught in there, and I couldn't get away. And my dad luck happened. He was in the house, and he hollered out and said, Hoss, how you doing out there? I said, I'm not doing too good. Get out here. And he got me out of it. But then that 55 Ford was one of the best cars I ever owned. We had.
Well, I was mostly a homemaker, and while the kids was little anyway. And then after about the time Joe started school, I got a job at Canteen, and then I was a homemaker again, and got another part-time job, and I liked working from 9 to 1 so I could be working when the kids was in school. And then after that, when they were older, I got a job at Lib's making candy, selling candy. And then before I quit, I was helping them dip the chocolates and different things. And I worked there almost 18 years.
I worked Imperial Desk, like she said, for a while. Then I got a job at Whirlpool, and I worked there at 39 and a half years. And retired there. I was 60, and I've been retired, should soon be 22 years in May. And I had some rough jobs in it, but I also had some good jobs there, and I was always happy and thank the Lord that I got a job that paid that much. It was a lot of money then for us. Because I was making $1 an hour at Imperial, and then there I was making $1.75. Boy, I was really making the dough. Bernie, we're going high class, and so to me it was a lot of money. Now, I remember the first time we talking about we got married and got that apartment. We went to the grocery store for the first time, and we spent $25. I said, boy, we'll never do that again. Never spend $25 for groceries again. But of course you do now. But I still remember that deal. And in Whirlpool, I was blessed to get that job. Also, when I was younger, I turned 32. I accepted the Lord. I also got to be a lay minister in my life, and I was happy with that. And so that has been good for me. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Well, Whirlpool, first got hired in. My dad worked in the garage, so he had a little pole, so he got me working. I got to work in the garage, what they call the garage, worked on cars and different things. And my job was, believe it or not, wash cars for the big shots, the limousine, some of the higher ups, and that was okay. All I had to do was wash 3 cars a day. Man, I could do that easy, and because I used to be pretty fast doing stuff. And then also we worked out in the garage. There was a guy come out, and we had our own coffee, and everybody chip in, and we'd have our own coffee. And some guy come out and just start helping himself. And them guy said, I don't mind giving the guy coffee, but he comes up more and more all the time. We told him, we donate, we put in a can, we put money in a can for that, but he never did. He said, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, I'll take care of it. So in the garage, you had the high beams. I could get up there and on them beams, and I used to throw little rocks down on guys, and they'd look up and they didn't know what was happening. Then I could always get away fast because I'd move fast. But anyway, this guy, he kept it up, so I got me a gallon bucket, put water in it, got up on them beams, and he got him coffee and go to walk out, and I put the water on him. He didn't come back no more for coffee, but that broke that up.
Well, our oldest daughter was born in January of 57, and then Karen, our next one, was born in June of 58, and then Jill was born in 63, and I don't know, but having children was very special to me, and just the miracle of birth, and I think it was very revealing about the world and stuff. As as you're young and you work and stuff, you don't, you just go through life. But then whenever I got pregnant and gave birth, the meaning of life. And it just felt so awesome. And I thought, how could somebody like him and me have babies like we had? I thought they were all smart and good looking and everything, and I thought, it was just amazing to me.
We talked about the kids. I remember, we had 2 girls, and we thought, we'll try one more time for a boy. I said, okay, and we did, and the doctor said, it's a boy this time. At that time, they went by the heartbeat, and he said, this time you got a boy. I said, okay. And I'll never forget, of course, the husband couldn't go in either as they give birth. You had to stay out and wait. And the doctor come out and he said, I'm sorry, but you got another girl. I said, you know what? Girls are sweet anyway. I said, and believe me, I couldn't love a boy anymore than I love them 3 girls. And we'd play games together, and sometimes they'd beat me. But growing up with them, getting older and learning having a family like them 3 girls, I'll just never forget it. Remember, when they went to high school, they had a car, and I taught them how to check the oil, and if they have a flat tire, I told them how to change a tire. If they couldn't get a hold of me, everybody didn't have a phone at them days, but I couldn't love a boy. I couldn't love them anymore than I loved them girls.
If a boy got in as much trouble as he had, he wouldn't have been able to take it. He needed sweet girls.
Oh, then she told about when she got pregnant for the first one, and at that time I didn't have a car.
Had that Nash.
It broke down, so my sister come down to Jerry, I'm leaving, said she did live down the street. She says, Vernie's about ready to have that baby. I said, don't leave. She said, you better get her to the hospital. Don't leave, Pat, don't leave. She said, I'm leaving. I said, well, can I use your car and take her to the hospital? She said, yeah. And so we was going up First Avenue, and St. Mary's Hospital was there close, and Deaconess there, and I was turning left on Columbia to get her to Deaconess, and her door come open. I just grabbed her and I said, hang on, and I'm not stopping. And just kept going. I didn't want to have that baby in the car, but we made it all right.
The door banged all the way to the hospital.
And everything turned out all right.
It's, I kind of set the bar high. It didn't take me very long to have a baby.
No, she.
I was in labor about 2 hours, and I didn't really believe I'd heard all these stories about being in labor all day long and stuff. So I thought, well, my back's hurting, but I'm not in labor. But I was.
Yeah, she said, Jerry, I'm not ready to go yet. I said, you're either going to go or I'm leaving. So we made it all right.
And with Karen, she was a little quicker than that. And then with Jill, doctor says, I'm putting you in the hospital. So he put me in the hospital and started me. And it took me longer to have Jill than it did either one. like I said, I started working when Jill was little, and my sister-in-law watched her. I'd take her by there because I was just gone a few hours, and I'd take her by there, and she'd play with all of her cousins. And so we was talking coming home when I think she was probably 5, but hadn't started to school yet. And we was talking about what her day was like and everything. And I said, well, do they pray when they eat? And she said, yes, Mom. But they pray on their shoulders. Because they were Catholic, and so they was making the sign of the cross, and but they pray on their shoulders. She couldn't figure that one out. Then later, well, we always tried to attend everything. I know that this is our story. Well, there was Kathy and then Karen, and so I think for about 6 years there, we was there every year, you know, because as they went through the grades, so forth. Anyway, and then I don't know. This is my tonette bad, you know, and we got so sick of hearing that. This is my story music and stuff, but they were all good in it and everything. I think that was. Just wish there was something else, but there was. It just got a little aggravating with that.
And there's all honey bears too. Each one of them made honey bears. I was really proud of them. We'd go all the games. There'd be my girls' honey bears, and of course we went to Central, and they did, and they did wonderful there.
I remember Jill's senior year there. She was a honey bear, and she's also in the concert choir. And they had their madrigals that they was doing, I think it was at Christmas time. And she was working at Ross department store over here. And she told the guy that she was in these things, and he said that was fine. But when it come time to get off for it, he said, you can't have off. I told her, I said, well, you know, you're young. This is high school. This is your time to do what you need to do. So just work till that time comes, and then tell him you either have to let be off for madrigals or you quit. And did. But the poor girl, she spent every time she got a paycheck, and I think it all went back to the store for her clothes. And
gotta go look good in high school.
But well, that's what it's about.
like I know they said marriage is 50-50, but it's not 50-50. Sometimes it's 90-10 or vice versa. You got to give and take in married life, and it's not always easy, and we've had our differences, but we hung in there together. We've been married 61, soon be 62 years, and times were sometimes wasn't too happy, but yet you got to look over the thing, and I'm telling you, first little mad spell, don't run out the door and say that's it. You gotta, both of you gotta give and take. Give and take is the biggest thing, and because you do love each other, you gotta be willing to say, I'm sorry, and that's a big thing. And to me, pass that down to all my kids and grandkids and great grandkids. I'm glad when you get married or you're married, you just gotta give and take.
I think you got to pick somebody that's loving. One of our problems was like both of our parents was divorced, so our mothers made all the decisions. Usually we lived with our mothers and they made all the, so when we got married and had kids, we was making their decisions and stuff without talking to each other. And that caused a lot of problems in the beginning. So you really need to be able to talk to each other without getting mad. It's just conversations, you know. And we grew up and, well, like there wasn't phones in our home when we were kids. And there was no televisions. And and we made it fine. You don't have to have all the new electronics and things like that. And I think having hope, striving to do your best, and to give other people benefit of a doubt, and just don't be me. I don't know, if you love each other, then you're going to find a way to work things out. And but it takes both of you working on it.
And I think it takes a lot of praying to do it too. God has really helped us do everything. Even when Karen died, God is just you're joyful knowing that we have a God that loves us so much, that He's always there and has His arms around us, and He's helped us through married life and Karen's death so much. And you don't forget that stuff, and I'll never forget that how He really helped me and her and the family, really.
When you're facing death as a family, if you believe in God and you believe His will should be done, there was many times that Karen had miracles in her life. And maybe it was because I was looking for them or what, but there was so many times that things should have been different than what they were. But I woke up one morning and it was in January, and a voice told me, Vernie, this is the beginning of the end.
Okay.
And I took it to mean that things were going to go down, but Karen kept a strong attitude. And as Jill had become her chemo buddy at that time and was at all of her treatments and stuff, she'd tell me things that happened. And they were just miracles. And I think that, I don't know, I just believe in God, and it wasn't like she was dying. It was like she was going to heaven. And that was my attitude. I tried not to think of her as dying, but she was going to her rewards. And I think that helped me the most. Different people have asked me to know me, how I got through that, and I believe it was just her spirit and just knowing that it was her reward. That's a tough thing to lose a child, or a sister, or brother, or whatever, a family member. Old folks are supposed to die, but not the young ones.
Well, we get back. I left one story out when saying Vernie was from Illinois and Golden Gate. So she said, "You want to go to Golden Gate?" I said, "Yeah, I want to see that bridge, that Golden Gate Bridge." And it was just a little bridge, but anyway, we went to see her brother, and he wasn't home at the time. So Vernie said, "Let's go up to the restaurant." Don't have one restaurant in the town. Said, "Okay." So I went in there, and she said, "He might be in there." I said, "Okay, I'll go look." And I went in, and I didn't see him. So I come out, and here come about 15 girls out, and of course a new boy in town. Boy, I was happy. Yeah.
It's a hot spot.
So Vernie said, "Let's go. Let's get out of here."
Well, we went to Illinois because my dad was dead at that time, and so I wanted him to meet my older brother, and so that's why we made that trip over there. But he was so awed that girls were so available over there. But there's one story that'll go down in history that we have. And
yeah.
Jill was 6 weeks old. First time I'd been out of the house by myself for several months. But she was 6 weeks old, and I could drive then. And I told him, he said, "Why don't you just go to the store?" So I fixed my hair up and got all dressed up and everything and went to the grocery store all by myself. I come home and I go to see what they're all doing, and he's sneaking around the back of the house, and he has a bucket of water. And when I come around the back of the house, he pours it right over my head. So here I am all fixed, and I was so got. And here I thought, I was looking nice, and he pours that water over my head and my hair and my clothes and everything. And so I tried to get a hose, and of course he could take the hose away from me because he was stronger than me. So I said, "All right, buddy, I'll get you," under my breath. So I go on in the house, and I get my clothes changed, and I come back out, and he's busy out there. He had beagles that he used to hunt with, so he was cleaning their cage. And he made this nice cage,
Pen.
concrete floor, fence all the way around it, put a roof on it for the weather and stuff. And he was in there cleaning that cage up. And I just kind of nonchalantly went out there, put the lock in the cage door, and went back up to the house and got the hose and started back out there. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to rinse you off like you did." So here's 3 dogs in that cage with him. And I've got the hose, and I'm just squirting him. And he's hollering, "Let me out of here. I'm going to get you." And I'm just spraying him. Next thing I know he's trying to crawl in the doghouse to get out of the water. He tried to scoop those dogs over so he can get in the doghouse. And he tells the girls, he said, "Turn that hose off." And I said, "No, you don't want to turn the hose off because Mom's got the hose." And our little girls didn't know what to do. They was 5 or 6 years old, and they didn't know what to do. And so I just kept spraying, and then I looked up, and all the neighbors were lining up on their properties in the back because it opened up into the Wansford coal yards. And so when our yards ended, there's this big field out there, and they all going to the...
They heard me holler.
They heard this man out there in the field holler, but he was in our backyard. And we met some lifelong friends that way. They came down to see what was going on. And I guess they thought one of us was getting beaten or something because of the way he was hollering. But I think that's one time I got him.
You did. You got even.
I tell you, in our younger days, we had a lot of water fights.
It was fun.
We was having company over one Labor Day, and somebody started messing with water, and I got wet again. And friends,
Tell them about how I fell off that ladder after that. I was changing that light bulb, or I jumped off or something.
Well, we had friends over here, and this one guy's real easygoing and kind of slow and moseys along. And I brought the hose in the house,
Oh, man.
and I shot it at him. And he takes the hold of his friend that's so quiet and easygoing and just pushes him through the house.
That's the fast he ever went. He went out that door flying.
This one says, I've never in my life have I seen Harold move that fast. Well, we lived in our first house. Our light bulb needed changing up.
Outside light.
Back door light. And we had like 6 steps going up to the back door. So he had to get a ladder to change it. He reached up there and grabbed that light bulb, and then there was a sonic boom.
Airplane come over, off that ladder I went. Didn't hurt myself, though.
But the thing of it, the reason it bothered you so much was you got shocked.
Yeah, I got shocked before that doing something else.
2 weeks before that, he got shocked in the house and couldn't turn loose of the dryer because he got shocked. So when that sonic boom went over, he thought he done had it. Well,
yeah, I can tell you one story. In my younger days, we used to go on Saturday night. We used to go to VFW and go dancing. We loved to dance. I loved to dance, and my brother-in-law again, Phil, my sister, we'd all go dancing. And I drank a couple beers, but I didn't have to drink to dance because I liked to dance. But then I went to soft drinks because I didn't want to get drunk. I was dancing. Anyway, my brother-in-law wanted some whiskey. They pulled numbers, and he wanted some whiskey. And I was drinking soft drink. He put a little whiskey in my drink, and I didn't even know it, just a little. And he kept, and every time I come back, see, I'd get some. And I guess that's as drunk as I ever was. And we got home. They drove, and Vernie went down to Jerry. She couldn't find me. And so they all went down. We had a big ditch by our house then. They looked in the ditch with flashlights and everything. Then all at once they went in the house. And for some reason, she opened the clothes, and there I was. And she just smiled and said, "Everybody happy?" They said, "Well, we found him."
Passed out in the closet.
You don't have to be crazy to be in the Wilhite family, but it does help.
I just feel like, we married I was 17, he was 19. And we have been blessed with our children and our grandchildren.
And our great-grandchildren.
And our great-grandchildren now. And our families. It's just, when we retired, our oldest daughter took us to Washington, D.C. Jill took us to Disneyland. And Karen took us to the Outer Banks.
Outer Banks.
So that was first of our traveling, and seems like I'd never been out of Evansville when we got married. And then over to I came from Golden Gate, a little country town with this country family. And he hadn't been any place either. But now we've been from coast to coast. It's been a wonderful life.
I started running when I was 43. My daughter come home one day from college, said, "Dad, you want to run?" I said, "You want to race?" I said, "No, I don't want to do that." I said, "Well, you couldn't beat me anyway." So we took off running anyway, and she did beat me because I hadn't run that far. We went about a half a mile and a half mile back, and I had to walk some of it. That got me started running, though. I thought, I'll start running now. I'll start where I can beat her, because I didn't want her to beat me. So I started running then at age 43, and that was in July of '79 when she come out, and then in August of '79 they had a race out USI, and she called me and said, "Dad, you want to get in that race? It's a 2-mile race," and I've been running quite a bit. But I said, "Well, I'll try and see if I can make it." So we got into it, and I did make it. There was about 100 runners at that time. That was a lot of runners then, and that in '79, and I come in probably 100 runners. I probably come in 50 something. So man, I was really happy over that. So I really started training hard then, and then. When I was 45, I come in third place in my age group. Then I worked hard, and it takes a lot of work. And then I worked hard to get these trophies. And first trophy I ever seen them give away, I said, "Man, I got to get a trophy. I got to run to get a trophy." So I did. I got third place trophy. Then I kept running, kept practicing and doing speed work and different things, and then I got second place trophy, and I thought, all right, I'm going for one. And then I kept training. It took me a while to do it, but then I ended up getting first place trophy, and my best time was in the 3 mile. I averaged 5:35 a mile, and first mile was 5:20. That was the fastest mile I ever run, so I was real happy with it. And it takes work, and you got to train, and but it's well worth it. Now I got over 45,000 miles in counting. A man come out to me, one of my buddies race, said, "How you do all this?" I said, "Well, God gave me good legs, but you got to train." He said, "Can I come out and train with you?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I do speed work." At that time, I was doing half mile as fast as you go, and then half mile slow. And we run a half mile fast, and he said, "I'm quitting." He said, "I'm going back to the house." And he already come out. He said, "That's too hard. I don't care if I get faster or not." But anyway, I've enjoyed it. I'm happy with my miles, and it does take a lot of work, but I'm happy for it.